There are places in the world where survival is a tremendous challenge, be it due to relentless nature, extreme weather conditions, or political and social turmoil. That's why it's not wrong to say that some parts of the world seem to represent a constant state of risk for those who insist on staying there. Now, let's explore together which are these places and why survival in these lands is literally a daily struggle. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the Binge Banzo channel. Let's go. Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago is a Caribbean archipelago known for its stunning beaches and rich culture. The place has everything to be an excellent country to live in and highly prosperous, as it attracts tourists every year. However, what this paradise-like scenario hides is its high crime rate, exposing a public safety crisis. The homicide rate in the country, especially in the capital, Port of Spain, is alarmingly high. Among the various reasons contributing to this situation are drug trafficking and the control of gangs and factions in certain areas. The rise in organized crime and corruption within security forces are also factors that have made the country increasingly dangerous. In 2022, the country recorded an intentional homicide rate of 39.52 per 100,000 inhabitants, resulting in 605 murders that year. Tourists and travelers who decide to visit the place are quickly advised to be cautious. And if you think violence is the only danger in the country, you are mistaken, as Trinidad and Tobago also faces natural disasters such as hurricanes and resource shortages, leaving a significant portion of the population living in poverty. Jamaica. You've probably heard a lot about Jamaica, and although it's often described as a tranquil country, known as the land of reggae and the famous Bob Marley, this place hides serious problems that may drive many tourists away from discovering this paradise of natural beauty. Despite its infinite sandy beaches and cheerful residents, Jamaica has a sad and darker side. Recently, the country has become one of the most dangerous in the world due to high crime rates, especially in large cities. The crime rate, particularly homicides, in Jamaica is the highest worldwide, with an estimated 52.13 homicides per 100,000 inhabitants in 2023, according to UN data. Jamaica also faces high rates of robberies and violent crimes. According to statistics, in 2022, the country recorded over 1,508 homicides, placing Jamaica among the 5 most violent countries in the world. There, robberies and armed assaults are quite common, affecting both residents and tourists, especially in isolated or less frequented areas. Haiti experiences one of the worst situations in the Americas, including street violence and a government seemingly incapable of curbing it. The country never recovered from the January 2010 earthquake that killed over 200,000 people. Armed gangs now control the capital, Port-au-Prince, where they dominate about 80% of the territory. These groups extort and kidnap citizens. In addition to the many murders occurring daily, there were over 1,000 reported kidnapping cases in just the first half of 2023. Some say it's common to witness kidnappings happening in broad daylight. Beyond the violence, Haiti faces a severe humanitarian crisis. According to the UN, 4.9 million people currently need assistance, nearly half the population. Hunger is another problem, and many lack access to clean water. To worsen the situation, healthcare facilities are inadequate to serve those in need. In this context, insecurity, poverty, and organized crime make the country a dangerous and unstable place, where its beauty and culture are overshadowed by the significant risks. Danakil Desert. Located in Ethiopia, the Danakil Desert is considered one of the most inhospitable and dangerous places on the planet. With temperatures that can reach 122 degrees Fahrenheit, this desert is notable not only for its extreme heat, but also for its unique geology and entirely hostile environments. The region is one of the lowest places on Earth, situated about 328 feet below sea level, and is home to active volcanoes like Erta Ale, with its peculiar lava lake. The landscapes of Danakil are stunning to observe, but it's recommended to admire them from a distance. The desert's ground is covered with salt formations and colorful sulfides resulting from volcanism and water evaporation. Additionally, it has large sulfur deposits and other minerals, which release toxic gases that can be fatal to humans and animals. The combination of extreme heat, toxic gases, and hostile terrain makes this region unique and fascinating, but simultaneously deadly for humans. Despite these adverse conditions, some communities, such as the Afar people, inhabit the desert, having adapted their lifestyle to what seems almost impossible for many under such circumstances. They endure daily scarcity of water and food while maintaining their traditions. Baghdad, Iraq. Baghdad, the capital of Iraq, is a city rich in history and culture, known as one of the most important centers in the world. With a population of about 9 million people, the city was founded in the 8th century and was the largest city in the world during the Middle Ages. However, living in Baghdad means facing constant challenges and issues that affect the daily lives of its citizens. One of the greatest dangers, as you might imagine, is violence itself. Since the US invasion in 2003 and the subsequent fall of Saddam Hussein's regime, terrorist activities in the country have dramatically increased, including suicide bombings and attacks. Although security has improved in some areas, many residents of Baghdad still fear being targeted by insurgents and militias. Political instability is another detrimental factor to the country, with riots and protests arising from power struggles among different groups, organizations, and political parties. These events often lead to clashes between security forces and civilians, resulting in injuries and fatalities. In addition to violence, public services in Baghdad often fail. The country's infrastructure, damaged by years of war, faces severe problems, such as electricity cuts, lack of potable water, and inadequate healthcare services. This situation impacts the quality of life, leading to public health issues. Baghdad's streets are always crowded and often dangerous. Checkpoints and security inspections are frequent, making public transport a stressful and often risky experience. This limits citizens' mobility and their access to employment and education opportunities. Another significant problem is that due to the diversity of ethnicities and religions in Baghdad, many conflicts arise from intolerance and cultural differences. In short, living in Baghdad is a daily challenge against violence, compounded by political instability, a lack of social responsibility, and constant attacks by terrorist groups, placing the city among the most dangerous in the world. Queimada Grandes Island. If you enjoy watching the Discovery Channel, then you've probably heard of Snake Island. This impressive location, about 20 miles off the coast of Sao Paulo state, is officially known as Ilha da Queimada Grande, one of the most isolated and dangerous areas in Brazil. Spanning about 106 acres, it's home to an estimated 2,000 snakes, most of which belong to the species Bothrops insularis, known as the golden lancehead viper. This highly venomous snake has adapted to the island's peculiar environment, developing venom that is 5 to 12 times more potent than expected for its species. The density of snakes on the island is alarming, with an impressive average of 1 snake per 10.76 square feet. But if you're curious about visiting this place, unfortunately, it's not possible. Due to the sheer number of snakes and the danger they pose, access to the island is prohibited to the public. IBAMA, the Brazil's environmental agency, bans visitation to protect both the local fauna and potential visitors. Despite the ban, researchers and biologists from around the world have received permits to visit the island and study this unique place, aiming to uncover its many mysteries. In addition to the snakes, the island boasts rich biodiversity, with lush vegetation including palm trees and native trees, and serves as an important habitat for seabirds. Its insular environment offers a peculiar ecosystem where studies on species evolution and adaptation are conducted. So, while Ilha da Queimada Grande might seem like an attractive destination, the truth is that it's one of the most lethal ecosystems in the world, best appreciated from afar or on television. But tell me, did you know there was a place like this in Brazil? Death Valley. As its name suggests, Death Valley, located in California, is one of the most dangerous places in the world, primarily due to its extreme temperatures. The valley, with an average temperature of 107 degrees Fahrenheit, holds the record for the highest temperature ever recorded on Earth, 134 degrees Fahrenheit in 1913. With annual rainfall of only 2 inches, survival for flora and fauna in this area is extremely difficult. Located in Badwater Basin, the lowest point in North America at 282 feet below sea level, its unique location contributes to its extremely challenging conditions. The proximity to the Sierra Nevada mountain range and the presence of high mountains create a heat trap effect that intensifies the temperature in the region. Death Valley's landscape is spectacular, featuring vast salt flats, sand dunes, and towering mountains. However, beyond the heat, the place is home to dangerous animals, including coyotes, known for their speed and resilience. Despite the difficulties, some plants like cacti can be found in Death Valley, having developed remarkable adaptations to survive in this hostile environment. And as you might imagine, the name Death Valley wasn't given arbitrarily. It specifically stems from an incident in which 13 gold miners searching for gold in the region perished, unable to withstand the valley's extreme conditions. Now, while visiting might seem like a crazy idea, adventurers should know that you can visit the park if you're traveling through California. Just make sure to hire a guide and avoid going alone. Chernobyl. This is probably one of those stories you've studied in school or researched on your own. After all, it's nearly impossible not to have heard of the nuclear accident that shocked the world. Chernobyl, synonymous with nuclear disaster, is a place where time seems to have stopped. On April 26, 1986, during the final years of the Soviet Union, Reactor 4 at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant released a wave of radiation that spread across Europe. The disaster, considered the worst nuclear accident in history, led to mass evacuations and left a deep mark on collective memory. The amount of radiation emitted by Chernobyl was approximately 400 times greater than that of the Hiroshima bomb. The 49,000 residents of Pripyat, a city just 1.8 miles from the plant, were evacuated. However, many returned later, hoping to find their homes intact. The high number of displacements and the lack of a clear plan during the crisis had long-term consequences on the population's health. More than 30 years after the disaster, Chernobyl remains an abandoned site. The exclusion zone, covering about 1,004 square miles, is still dangerous due to high radiation levels. Despite the danger and most people choosing to stay away, guided tours in restricted areas began in 2011. Visitors can explore the ghost town of Pripyat and even get a relatively close view of the legendary Reactor 4, where it all happened. What was meant to be merely a symbol of devastation and sadness has become a significant tourist attraction, drawing people from around the world. Meanwhile, the radioactive lands of Pripyat remain one of the most dangerous places on the planet. Nile River. Stretching over 4,132.35 miles, the Nile is not only one of the largest rivers in the world, but also one of the most significant in the history of civilization. Its beautiful landscape hides many natural and biological dangers that put the lives of those entering its waters or shores at risk. One of the most important threats is the various creatures living there. The Nile crocodile, endemic to the region, and the largest crocodile species in Africa, can reach up to 16.4 feet in length. This species poses the greatest threat to anyone navigating or staying near the Nile. These reptiles are extremely stealthy and can easily ambush their prey, including humans. It's estimated that hundreds of people are killed by these crocodiles each year, making them one of the most feared species in the region. Another dangerous Nile inhabitant is the hippopotamus. Despite their peaceful appearance, hippos can be very aggressive and territorial. They have jaws strong enough to crush boats and will attack without warning, especially if they feel threatened or if their young are nearby. Each year, an average of 500 people are killed by hippos in Africa, making them the second deadliest animals on the continent, surpassed only by mosquitoes. But it doesn't stop there. After hippos and crocodiles, the Nile is also home to various venomous snakes, like the black mamba and the gaboon viper, both found along its banks. These venomous reptiles are quick and deadly, posing a risk to those working or living near the river. The waters of the Nile also harbor predatory fish, such as the tigerfish, known for its sharp teeth and aggression. Although they rarely attack humans, these animals are feared for their speed and ferocity. Moreover, beyond natural threats, the environment around the Nile fosters the spread of bacteria and viruses. The schistosoma parasite, carried by freshwater snails, affects millions of people every year. Other tropical diseases, like malaria and yellow fever, are common in coastal areas, increasing the risk for locals. Thus, the Nile is an environment where almost everything can end up being deadly, making it one of the most dangerous rivers in the world. Amazon River. If you want to see a truly dangerous river up close, you don't need to go to Africa. Just head to the Amazon River. As the largest river in the world, the Amazon is one of the most important natural wonders on Earth, but also one of the most dangerous. Spanning a vast area in South America, the Amazon Basin is home to impressive biodiversity and some of the world's most mysterious animals. Although its waters play a vital role in global ecosystems, navigating or living along its shores can be risky. To this day, many legends circulate about the deadly creatures inhabiting its depths, but we don't need to rely on myths. There are records of attacks by several dangerous animals in the river's ecosystem. Among the best known are piranhas, freshwater fish with sharp teeth and aggressive behavior. While they rarely attack humans under normal conditions, numerous incidents involving these animals have been recorded. In addition to piranhas, the Amazon also houses the candiru, a small parasitic fish infamous for its ability to enter human orifices. As you can imagine, another famous and dangerous inhabitant of the Amazon basin is the black caiman, the largest crocodilian species in South America. It can grow up to 19.69 feet in length and is a stealthy and powerful predator, capable of killing large animals and even humans. Living alongside them in the Amazon waters is the green anaconda, one of the largest snakes in the world. Although they generally avoid contact with humans, there are recorded cases of attacks and fatalities caused by these monstrous snakes. Beyond the animals, we must also consider invisible threats like parasites and Amazonian mosquitoes. Malaria is one of the most common diseases in the region, posing a constant problem for people living near or visiting riverside areas. Although the Amazon is a fascinating and breathtaking place, it's important to remember that it's a wild and exotic environment where almost everything can be fatal or at least dangerous. Yakutsk. Do you prefer heat or cold? This might be one of the most common debates among people, but this place might be too extreme even for cold lovers and a complete nightmare for those who prefer warmth. Located in the Sakha Republic of Russia, Yakutsk is considered the coldest city in the world, with extreme temperatures that can drop to minus 76 degrees Fahrenheit in winter. Considering that prolonged exposure to temperatures below 32 degrees Fahrenheit can already cause hypothermia and death. The fact that Yakutsk can reach minus 76 degrees Fahrenheit means that anyone stepping outside on such a day has little chance of survival. Founded in 1632, the city developed along the Lena River and became an important administrative, economic, and cultural hub for the region. One distinctive characteristic of Yakutsk is its harsh climate. The city is built on permafrost, a layer of permanently frozen soil that presents significant challenges for buildings and infrastructure. To cope with these conditions, structures are built elevated on stilts or piles to prevent the heat from buildings from melting the ground and causing complications. The Yakut, or Sakha, culture is rich and diverse, reflecting the traditions of the indigenous peoples of the region. The Yakut language is widely spoken. The city also offers attractions like the Ice Garden, which showcases beautiful ice art during winter festivals. The Yakut region is equally known for its stunning natural landscapes, such as the surrounding tundra and mountains. While not the most inviting place to live, visiting Yakutsk can be a unique experience to feel extreme cold and explore a fascinating culture. Here's a great spot to suggest to that one friend who absolutely hates the heat. Death Road. Do you enjoy driving? Do you consider yourself a good driver? Then I challenge you to drive here on the infamous Death Road. Bolivia's Death Road, or Yungas Road, is one of the most feared and dangerous roads in the world. It stretches for 37.28 miles, connecting the tropical regions of La Paz and Coroico. The route descends dramatically from 15,260 feet in the Andes to 3,937 feet in the Amazon rainforest. Along these steep descents, drivers encounter sharp, dangerous curves on a road that is only 9.84 feet wide, often without protective barriers. The deadly combination of height, narrowness, and poor road conditions is a true challenge for drivers. The road's width is extremely narrow, making it difficult for two-way traffic, and the slopes on the sides are always hazardous. In some areas, cliffs are only inches away from vehicles, requiring drivers to be extremely attentive and skilled. The situation worsens during the rainy season. The roads become slippery with landslides, and thick fog reduces visibility, making it nearly impossible for buses and trucks operating in the region. Another factor increasing the risk is local traffic laws requiring vehicles on the road to yield to oncoming traffic. Drivers often find themselves stopping dangerously close to cliffs, exacerbating the situation. In the 1990s, Yungas Road became infamous for its high death toll, with an estimated 300 fatalities per year, earning it the title of the world's most deadly road. Although a safer new route was built in 2006, the old route remains in use, attracting drivers and cyclists seeking adrenaline and serving as a tourist attraction for those wanting to experience Bolivia and adventure tourism. North Sentinel Island. North Sentinel Island, located in the Andaman Islands in the Indian Ocean, is one of the most dangerous and mysterious places in the world. Isolated from modern civilization, the island is inhabited by the Sentinelese people who reject contact with new cultures and fiercely protect their territory from any external interaction. Attempts to approach, whether by boat or helicopter, are met with hostility. The Indian government, which has jurisdiction over the island, has ordered that no one approach to protect both the Sentinelese and potential visitors. This is because, in addition to the risks tourists might face, the islanders lack immunity to external diseases. Due to their isolation, these people have no protection against viruses and bacteria that are common for us, meaning that foreign visitors could unintentionally spread deadly illnesses to the natives. In addition to the hostility of the local inhabitants, the environment is also dangerous. The island is surrounded by coral reefs, making navigation extremely difficult, especially for large ships. These reefs act as a natural barrier, hindering access to the coast and increasing the risk of shipwrecks. Although some individuals have made contact with the Sentinelese and survived, the most well-known story illustrating the dangers of North Sentinel Island occurred in 2018, when American missionary John Allen Chau was killed by the natives while attempting a missionary expedition. His death had a significant impact, showing that despite globalization reaching almost every corner of the world, there are still communities living in ways entirely different from ours. Vozrozhdeniya Island. Vozrozhdeniya Island, located in the center of the Aral Sea, is one of the most mysterious and dangerous places in Kazakhstan. This 463 square mile area is remembered not only for its natural beauty, but also for its dark history related to the development of biological weapons during the Soviet era. In the 1950s, the Soviet government turned the island into an open-air secret laboratory, establishing the Vozrozhdeniya Biological Research Center. Horrific experiments were conducted there, including exposing animals and humans to diseases like anthrax and other deadly viruses. The decision to use the island for such experiments was due to its isolated location, far from populated areas. However, this choice had negative consequences. When the Soviet Union collapsed in the 1990s, the facilities were abandoned, but to this day, the site remains at risk of biological contamination, as old buildings contain remnants of harmful pathogens. This makes the island a deadly place and a threat to anyone approaching it without caution. Besides its mysterious role in biological weapons research, Vozrozhdeniya is also a symbol of environmental degradation in the Aral Sea. During the Soviet era, the Amu Darya and Sir Darya rivers were diverted, significantly reducing the Aral Sea's water levels and increasing the size of the islands. All this brought a negative environmental impact. Fish species disappeared, and communities that depended on them faced great difficulties. Surrounded by what were once rich marine environments, the island has become a toxic desert due to sandstorms carrying chemical residues that pollute the soil and air. As expected, the toxic waste and environmental pollution left by biological research have transformed the island into a very dangerous place. Thank you for watching the video all the way to the end. If you enjoyed it, leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the upcoming content. Bye.